Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to guide you on installing macOS Ventura on Proxmox. This is fairly standard installation process, however you do need to do a couple of special things for it to run smoothly. This video is based on a blog post by Nick Sherlock. I'm going to link his blog post in the description if you're more of a reader than a watcher. But I wanted to make a video to show these steps in action. You can use either macOS or Linux to do the preparation steps. And since I have prepared a Proxmox node for this video, I'm going to use the Proxmox host to also do the preparations. So with that all said, let's get started. To begin, we need to install two things on this machine. We're going to apt install git core and also the make utility. Oh, it seems like we need to run apt update first. Now that's done, we can do apt install. And now that these two utilities are installed, we can git clone the osx-kvm repository. So type git clone and then paste. And again, this will be in the description. Okay, now let's go into that repository. Go into the scripts directory and then go to Ventura. And you'll see a makefile there. And then simply type make ventura recovery.img. And this will download macOS Ventura from Apple servers and put the downloaded file in your local directory, and then prepare an image. That went fairly quickly. And if we now type ls, we can see a new file called ventura recovery.img. What we need to do with this file, since we're on the Proxmox host, we can just type mv ventura recovery.img and move that to var lib vz template ISO. And this will place that file in the ISO store of your host. Apart from the Ventura image, we also need the OpenCore ISO image. And you can download that again at the link below. Just open up this releases page here, then right click, copy the link, and then wget that link, then gunzip, and now we have opencore.iso, and just go ahead and move that to var lib vz template ISO. So if we now go back to our Proxmox installation here and click on local, then ISO images, we can see these files we just downloaded and made. So now we have these two files and we're ready to create the VM. Go ahead and click create VM here at the top. We're going to give the name of Ventura, hit next. Select an ISO image, select the OpenCore image here. And for the guest OS, we're going to say other. For the machine type, we're going to pick Q35. And then for the BIOS, we're going to select UEFI. Select an UEFI storage and then untick the pre-enroll keys box. This is critical. If you do not untick this, stuff will break. I'm going to enable QEMU agent, and then for the SCSI controller we're going to pick the virtio SCSI single. Go ahead and click next. For the bus we're going to pick virtio block, and then for the disk size I'm going with 64 gigabytes. Hit next. I'm going to give it 4 cores, but feel free to experiment with different configurations here. For the memory, I'm going to go with 8 gigabytes. and I'm going to give it the default LAN adapter here. For the model of the network interface, I'm going to pick VirtIO paravirtualized, and this should give us a little bit better performance. Then hit next and finish. And Proxmox will create a VM for you. And then we are almost ready to install macOS Ventura. We just need to make a small adjustment to the configuration of our VM here. First, we're going to click our new VM and go to hardware. Then click add and pick CD DVD drive. Then for the storage, I'm going to select local, and for the ISO image, we're going to select the other file we created today, Ventura recovery.img. Click add. And now we need to make some more modifications, but we can only do that from the command line. So let's go back to our terminal where we are logged into the Proxmox host. And make a note of the VM ID. For us it's 100. Okay, and now we're logged into our Proxmox host. Let's go to cd etc pve qemu server. Type ls and you will see a bunch of .conf files, one for every VM you have on your Proxmox host. So just edit this file. I'm going to do that with vim. And what we need to do here is add some stuff on the bottom here. I'm going to paste these lines, and again you can just copy them from the description or from the blog post. And we need to replace a string here. You will see the text, the OSK you extracted goes here. But wait, we didn't extract an OSK. We didn't do anything besides what I showed you. So we need to find a magic string here, and this magic string is what makes the macOS boot on non-Mac hardware, because Mac hardware will have this special string embedded in the actual hardware. Luckily, this string is very easy to obtain, and actually if you have cloned the Git repo osx-kvm, then that string is already on your machine. I'm not going to show it in this video, because Apple tried to mark these words as trade secrets, which is crazy because you'll see it's just on haiku. But yeah, I'm not going to show this in the video, but I'm going to show you how you can find it. So let's go into that osx-kvm repository, and then let's do a less on the file opencore boot.sh. And now let's scroll down here. And you will come by a device which says Apple SMC and then OSK and then a string. Again, it's blurred in this video, but I've shown you where you can find it. It's hosted on GitHub. And what you need to do here is select this string. Copy it. Then go back to your VM config. Edit it, and then replace the text the OSK you extracted goes here with the text you just copied. With that out of the way, we can go to our two IDE lines here for the OpenCore ISO and the Ventura recovery disk. And what we need to replace here is media is CD-ROM. We need to remove that and type cache equals unsafe instead. And this will make sure that the VM treats these drives as hard drives instead of CDs and DVDs. Okay, we're almost done. Go ahead and save this file and then run this command, and this will make sure that macOS doesn't boot loop when you try to start it. And this command also makes sure it's preserved after a reboot. Alright, and then make it active for your current session. There we go. And now we've done that, we can finally go to Proxmox here and start the VM. So go ahead and click start. And then I'm going to open the console. And let's make it full screen here. Or maybe not. I guess Firefox doesn't want me to make this full screen. Okay, it's spazzing out. Let's go to the console here. This should work better. So let's hit install macOS Ventura here. And it should boot to the recovery mode. Once you're in the recovery mode, go to disk utility and then hit continue. Because we need to prepare our disk first, you'll see a couple of disks here. Go ahead and click the Apple Incorporated Vert.io block media, and that will resemble the size you picked while creating the VM. Go ahead and click erase, and I'm going to give it the name macOS. And APFS is fine, but you can also pick macOS Extended, which also should be fine. Let's click erase and then wait for the disk to be formatted. And once that is done, go ahead and click done. And then close out of disk utility. And now we can go to reinstall macOS Ventura. Click that and click continue. Hit continue. Read the terms and conditions and then click agree. Click agree again. And now here we can pick the disk we just formatted and then click continue again. And now we just play the waiting game. I'm going to speed through the installation, but just keep in mind that macOS will reboot a couple of times. And what you need to do when it reboots is in the boot menu that it will eventually show, pick the macOS installer every time and not the option install macOS Ventura that is selected by default. Once the installation is done, the macOS installer will change to the name you picked during the formatting. So for me that is macOS. And once you see that, you're ready for the first boot. Once macOS is finally installed, go ahead and follow the out-of-box experience, as you see here. Don't feel alarmed, as it might feel a little bit sluggish. This should become better a few minutes after you have created a user account and are at the desktop. Once you get to this screen, go ahead and hold off of logging into your Apple ID. I tried to do this in a previous test and it immediately blocked my Apple ID and I couldn't log in. If I'd read a blog post by Nick Sherlock better, this is because by default every virtual Macintosh is equipped with the same serial number. We need to change that. I'm going to show you how, but for now we need to click setup later and create a local user account. And after all that is done, you will finally land at a desktop. Hold on, we're almost there. There's just a small few things we need to do. First up, let's find a better way to control this installation instead of using the Proxmox console. Open System Settings, then go to General and find Sharing. And then once you're in the sharing menu, go ahead and enable screen sharing and remote login. Remote login is Apple's term for SSH. Now that that's enabled, let's SSH into this installation. We can find the IP address by going to Network, then Ethernet, and then our IP address will be listed here. We're now logged into our virtual Mac via SSH, and we need to do a couple of things like I said. First, we need to make the install more permanent by copying the OpenCore bootloader to our virtual hard drive. To do this, type disk-util list. And what we need to do here is copy the EFI partition of the ISO file to the EFI partition of our disk. And in this example, our OpenCore ISO is here. This is the 157 megabytes partition. And our EFI disk is disk 2. And we can see that because our APFS volume is on here. And it is the size we specified while creating the VM. So to copy this, in this example, we type sudo dd space if is/dev/disk 1 s1, and that is referring to this identifier here. Then space of is/dev/disk 2s1, which is referring to this partition right here. And IF means input file and OF means output file, and this is literally copying the partition bit by bit. So hit enter. It'll ask for your passwords, so type in your passwords. And the terminal will appear to hang for a while. This is normal, just let it sit and it should finish after a few seconds. There we go, it took less than 30 seconds. Now there is one more thing we need to do, and that is change the serial number. So if you go back to the console and click on About this Mac, you will see the shared serial number. But we're going to change that. And you can do that by running a few commands. And once you run these commands, you will get a message here on the console saying that you need to install the Git utility. Click install, agree, and then wait for this to finish. After the software is finally installed, we can run the commands again. Now let's run the Mac serial command. Make sure that the model matches with the model you have installed. For me this was iMac Pro 1,1, which was the default for me, but yours might be different. You can find this model in the system profiler on your virtual Mac. After you hit enter, you will be presented by two seemingly random strings. These are your new serial number and board serial, the MLB. And now if you check about this Mac, you will see the new serial number under the serial number field. So from here on out, you're done and you can use your Mac as you want. If you use another Mac to control your VM, you can use the screen sharing utility, and I'm going to show you that now. The screen sharing utility is a utility that is built into every Mac. And you can easily find that by searching for screen sharing in Spotlight. Here you can type in the IP address of your Mac. And then log in. And now you can control your Mac, basically. This is a bit like RDP on Windows machines. Also, since you have configured a unique serial number, you can also now log into Apple ID, and that should work just fine. And because the machine has ran for a little bit, the performance should also be a lot better. Well, that's been it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and I or someone might be able to help you out. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, and thanks for watching if you have been. See you next time.